talk about digital disruptions within the Indian IT industry. I've got 4 elite panelists with me from various industries representing right from education to engineering to IT and insurance industry. So having said that, let me first uh, give a warm welcome to all the 4 panelists. First, Mr. Arvind Patil. Arvind Patil is ex-Special Technology Officer of IIT Mumbai, comes with about 25 years of experience and implemented various technologies for IIT Bombay and have done many courses for IIT Mumbai and also supported Department of Information Technology through infrastructure development, including building laboratories, classrooms, special facilities for distant education program and business incubations, and had also done extensive work in development of IIT Bombay campus and adding new guest house, One Vihar, and multi-purpose building Gulmohar. A warm welcome to you, Mr. Arvind Patil, and hope to have a very exciting conversation with you in the next 1 hour. Next, I have Mr. Dharnidhar Dubey, who is AVP Technology from India and Full-Line. He comes with close to about 20 years of rich experience, demonstrated success in delivering and supporting mission-critical enterprise software solutions in web and mobile technology for domains. I worked across multiple technologies in different domains in automobile industry, logistics, financial solutions. Has got vast experience in scaling existing ventures, launching new ventures, delivering operational impact, and has got vast also experience in open source and implementing disruptive digital solutions. A warm welcome to you, Mr. Dharnidhar. Next, I have Mr. Naval Thakur. He comes with close to about 15 plus years of experience in various SDLC cycles, have been a pioneer in, especially on the cloud architecture side, have worked extensively on DevOps side and specializes in Karma model. He's also on a mission to bridge the gap between DevOps philosophies and SRE based implementation. And a warm welcome to you, Mr. Naval. And last, I have a head of IT and infrastructure and security from Marico Industries, Mr. Mayuresh Purandare. He is the IT information lead, working closely with different business holders in digital transformation, comes with about 15 plus years of experience, has vastly worked with different stakeholders, and Mayuresh is also next 100 CIO 220 winner. A warm welcome to all the gentlemen and look forward to have a wonderful session with all of you. Before we start the topic, my first question out of the syllabus, and may I request all the gentlemen to remove your mute so that we can start the conversation. My first question outside the syllabus is to you, Mr. Arvind. We are seeing a lot of disruptions in the IT industry, especially youngsters looking to do a lot of new courses. What is your experience over last 1-2 years? Where is the education as a program heading in the near future?
Yeah, so thank you, Mr. Siva. What I want to say is that digitization in education was a process we started about a couple of decades. But what this last 2 years have offered is that to speed up this process. And what probably we would have done after 5 years, we had to do in 2 years. So today, the status of learning is such that probably we would not have paced up so much that it would have been implemented so soon. So this 2 years due to COVID has forced that learning could be possible from anywhere, and including, say, primary education, secondary education, college education, even research. So we have seen many cases where it was unimaginative to be having a PhD Viva host on Zoom or WebEx, which has started happening. the learning. The students are not on the campus, but they participate in every activity of the institutes. So it is a huge plus to IT in education industry. Thank you.
My first question to stay on the topic, now that we are on a cusp of transformation, we are on a cusp of digitization. The super cycles of digitizations are unprecedented. A lot of organizations today are talking advancements of investment in digital solutions. I've been asked by a lot of industry leaders or even media persons, why is this happening? So my first question, which we day in and day out can't live with this sector, oil and gas. So my first question to Mr. Naval is that, what kind of disruptions are you seeing in oil and gas industry first?
Yeah, thanks for inviting me, TeamLease here. I'm glad to be here. What we are seeing in oil and gas industry as a whole has been slightly behind in terms of, they're good in innovation and experimentation, but then they have been behind in terms of automation of as compared to automotive and the aerospace industries and all those technologies, right? But then especially in the oil and gas, you will always hear, there's a data is the new oil, right? So that's so we work in oil and we work in data. What are the types of disruptions we are seeing is that there are a few demand forces, there are a few supply forces. On one side, demand forces, you are seeing there are many there are rise of hydrocarbon resources, so the demand is less. You would have seen in last 2 years, COVID, the demand for oil was very less. People were not going out, travels were not happening, so the demand was less. The oil prices were very, very low, but at the same time, we had to be at the look for new energy resources, look for new cheaper ways to doing things. That's what we did. So the one area which you'll see being improved much is the digital oil field. So virtual what do you say, VR, AI, ML, and all these things are very much in focus, because we need to have the digital oil field. We need to have the exploration simulated before we put it in the actual oil field, right? It's a very capital intensive thing. So we have to save money. There are 4 themes in the oil and gas industry where we are seeing disruptions. One is the digital asset lifecycle management. So you have to have the right resources, right tools, right assets at the right place. At the same time, we work in the low bandwidth areas, right? When the oil fields are very far from the mainland, right? The bandwidths are very low. So our systems need to be very, very network, effective and efficient. Then there is a collaborative ecosystem between the service providers, the oil field, and the upstream and downstream systems. Then there's new energies are coming up, especially Schlumberger. We invested a lot in the new energies type. So these are 4 trends which I see that in oil and gas. That's how it will be shaping up the disruption.
Now, if I may extend this question with this one more industry where we are highly obsessed with, so my question goes to Mayuresh, what kind of disruptions are you seeing in the FMCG segment? And especially because of pandemic, by the way.
Sure, Siva. So pandemic changed the way in which we consume a lot of products, right? So now most of the people have moved from unpackaged products to the packaged products because of the safety and hygiene concerns. Right? So this safety and hygiene has been the main area of focus for most of the FMCG industry. While we do that, right, we are also ensuring certain other things, right? Like how do we reach to the consumer directly? So this direct to consumer sales is also increasing a lot, right? Most of the players in the industry are not making money in direct to consumer sales, right? But this is the area which everyone is investing into, so that in future people will start making money out of it, right? But it is a very essential area where you direct connect with your consumers, right? So that is one digital trend which is happening. Second one is launching digital products. They're just talking about Marico. We have launched several products just within no time during this pandemic, right? For our own self, it used to take a lot of time earlier when there was a normal situation, right? The new product development cycle used to be much slower. But because of the pandemic, the new product development cycles have become much faster. So that is a one disruption which has happened. Then third one is the optimized supply chain. Nowadays, there are enough startups which are out there in supply chain where all the FMCG companies can rely on. Right, you don't have to create your own supply chain from scratch if you want to, open up a shop in a new market. Right, so that has happened during this pandemic. That a lot of supply chain startups have come up, a lot of supply chain disruption has happened. Right, so we are piggybacking on those disruptions. And fourth one that is happening a lot, which is the hyper customization. Right, so every consumer need is different, and now we are in technology cusp where you can actually invest into creating a customized products for requirements of your consumers. So that is something also we are focusing as a part of the digital transformation.
That's really great to know, because this one industry, as you've said, it's taking much faster time in product releases. But having said that, if I was to extend this question to the FMCG industry, how do you think that, what kind of disruptions are happening within the FMCG industry, within the financial service industry, Mr. Dubey sir?
Yeah, see, fintechs have been the challenge for big players in market, as well as blessing for, creating room for new customer-centric market where customer is king. Now with all these fintechs coming in, and they are so focused on customer needs and breaking that rudimentary way of operating of traditional banking and all, with omni-channel support for your banking needs. There is kind of branches are going obsolete, and banks are more moving towards their KYC and automated customer onboarding, whereas earlier banking had never faced such a challenge what they have gone through during pandemic, because expectations of customers due to pandemic situations, I mean, there were several banks who were supplying money up to home. So that was the thing. And the major revolution which is happening in BFSI is the small fintech companies coming up with beautiful solutions, where they are doing good things in terms of financial inclusions. They are kind of giving opportunity to non banking people who are not part of banks. They don't have bank account, but still they are able to do their digital transactions with the help of wallets and all that. And then lately we have seen like Paytm, starting from a wallet to a full-fledged bank. And not only that, the tech companies, giants of tech companies like Amazon and all these, they are sort of understanding that financial market, the importance, and they are kind of venturing towards that with their innovations. So the major fuel to this, I mean, to take it to new level have been the AI and ML, where using that robotic advisory, your chatbots handling customer queries in a more personalized way, where they are so intelligent that they understand each customer and their behavior and their appetite to risk, and accordingly they give very intelligent advice in terms of managing the risk, in terms of managing their portfolio. And before pandemic and after pandemic, I mean, the situation where we are, there is a huge leap in terms of when it comes to innovations in BFSI sector. The major idea is to automate workflow as much as possible, where you are saving on capex and opex, and that value you are passing on to end user, so that the conversions are more. You are driving business with that.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen valuation today in paper of Paytm talking about $20 billion. Shares got traded about 2,300 rupees. But having said that, my question to you, Arvind Saab, is that in a world where we live, that Google knows everything and education is transforming into a different scale. What do you think the education industry is going to go, especially on the digital disruption? Apart from the saddest part is, the learners not in campus. Apart from learners not being in campus, what do you think? What are the disruptions that are going to come to this industry?
What would have definitely happened is that now there is a crunch of good teachers. This has been a term coined for, I think, couple of decades. That if you want to be a successful academic institution, I mean, you want that your students should be the top class students coming out of your institution. So you needed to have good teachers and good number of good teachers. So what this digital disruption, this digitization has brought in is that now one teacher is able to cater to as many as 30,000, which is a practically happened situation. I'm telling that 30,000 listeners who are mostly students. So that has been possible now, and distance doesn't matter. So wherever the student is, wherever the teacher is, a lot of time saving, energy saving, and cost saving. That is the thing that has come, and it is going to help in future. A lot of infrastructure costs, building campuses and all this. So that has drastically come down. So there is no need of a classroom. Let's say a couple of years back, if I had to arrange a classroom session to be transmitted over distance and to cater to the local students, I was looking for a classroom much bigger than the existing classroom. So that has gone. Now sitting in a 10 by 10 feet cabin, a professor is able to deliver the lecture as effectively as he was doing earlier.
But sir, I don't know if I'm of the old school, but don't you think that the human interface or a face-to-face helps the learner as well as the educator in a much better way?
So there is something missing there. I agree with you that the personal interaction which happens on campus and not in the classroom, but probably on the campus outside the classroom, in the hostels or on the playgrounds, and all those things are missing. But that is a challenge for the technologies. So that technology could cover. I can tell you that we practice this, that in a conference room or a boardroom, if one or two board members are not present, they were joining digitally. So the scenario was created as if all the board members are present in the same room. Now that has to get extended so that even this interaction, this personal interaction, not a social media like chat, but a professional interaction, I think that is where the technology has to go. And we as educationists, we need to also give that support for the industry so that this gap between the physical interaction and digital interaction gets reduced.
So my question to again, Mr. Naval, is that because of pandemic, we have seen a lot of disruptions across different industries, not just oil and gas or FMCG or BFSI sector or education, what four of you allied panelists are saying. But can I make this statement? And if you agree, you'll have to give me a certain amount of case studies as where we are going. If disruption is one of the reasons what pandemic has taught us, can I also make a statement that innovation has taken much faster time or different industries? I'll reiterate my statement. Different industries have adopted innovation much faster because of pandemic, and thanks to pandemic, our learning curve or innovation curve has jumped up.
Yes, I'll take a stab at that first. I would like to answer apart from the oil and gas industry as well. Yeah, the disruptions and the innovations are always thought of, gradual changes. But whatever you think about change management, changes are always gradual. They say, don't do big bang and do small gradual changes, small wins and all that, right? But then, with this pandemic, everything has changed. I'll tell you very simple examples like you have seen so many COVID dashboard came up within a span of like 15, 20 days, right? You could see any site which will tell you, where, what are the numbers of people who are infected, or people are casualties and all that. How is the emergency? Where is the hospital bed available? If you have to develop this kind of system, you give it to no matter how big an IT company is, they will take, months and months. This could have been a very big project, right? That was there. That's first example dashboards. In the second wave, you would have seen there's so many people, low homegrown solution, only single developers using the low code and no code technologies, creating, where's the oxygen available, where can you get the ICU bed, and all these things are making the availability possible for everyone, helping each other and developing the solution. The solution would have taken a lot of time if you have to develop it for other things, right? I'll tell you one simple example. Like at this time when we are coming back to office, and I'm not taking examples from oil and gas because there was slightly lesser usage, but all these technologies what we learned, right? AIML, low code and no code, the RPAs, these have helped us a lot. Third example is when now we are returning back to office. So there's a flexi work model. You have to come to office for 2 days. You have to book a desk. In our company, especially, you have to come only 2 days, Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday is a sanitization day, and Thursday and Friday is another batch, right? So those systems were completed and created using the Power Apps, Microsoft Power Apps, and connectors. They were created within a span of week. you know uh, prior to the COVID, it would have been very tough. It would have taken long time to testing and developing and all that. We evolved with the system, so changes became from gradually to imminent. That's the change. That's what's pushed.
So what is your view, Mr. Mayur, in terms of, do you think the pandemic has hastened our innovation thought process? And can you quote some examples?
Sure. No, absolutely. I cannot agree more with Naval. I think what he mentioned, right? How quickly IT took over situation in their hand and started quickly deploying different solutions is obviously there. I would talk a little bit more about non-IT innovations also. So, if you see in FMCG itself, what happened during the pandemic, most of the shops used to be closed. Only the kirana shops used to be open, right? Now supply chain is closed, shops are open, plants are open. How do we send our stock to the shops, right? So that was the biggest area of concern. Second, when those shops are open, they don't know whom to contact to order stock because distributors are closed, right? So they're closed genuinely because there were no people around, right? So people left Mumbai or the metros, they went back to their houses. So, one of the things which Marico tried many years back was a telecalling. So telecalling means, if any retailer wants to order some Marico products, either they will get a call from a telecaller or they can call a help desk number or a toll-free number where they can order the stock, right? It failed miserably because, they used to always like people coming to them, they will have a chat together, then, order some SKUs, right? So that was the old idea. But during this pandemic, we again revamped our telecalling system. We quickly rolled out our telecaller application as well as the entire call center, all on cloud, right? And that actually started giving a lot of orders. Right? People accepted it. So people's acceptance also has changed. During this pandemic, they started accepting new technologies. We also rolled out, because people were not getting where shall I buy my groceries from, right? So we actually rolled out a WhatsApp-based grocery locator. So where everyone can actually send out a message to a particular number and you can actually see what are the different, in your area, what are the different shops which are open in the pandemic And do they have stock of, essential like Saffola oil, right? Do they have the stock of Saffola oil or not? So shall I go and stand in the queue or not, right? So all of those things also happened, and obviously they were not possible without those innovations, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've been living in a world which is called survival of the fittest, you know, and of the Darwin's theories and so far and so on. But I think what if I was to extend this question to Dubey Sab, what do you think the innovations have hastened up thanks to pandemic?
Yeah. During pandemic, I had seen a very a strange change, that was very touching. All these Crawford Market, shops, those big area, well known, that complete thing kind of came virtually on Facebook. So they were totally doing their business seamlessly through Facebook and WhatsApp. So orders, used to flow from Facebook to WhatsApp, and then from there, local, college kids and these people who were sitting at home, because of pandemic and all that, they were supplying these goods to up to Badlapur, Titwala, and all that, starting from Crawford Market, and such a beautiful change they adopted, and they are still continuing with that. So the huge market, that they could not tap in, and there was no way they could have been that would have been possible, unless the pandemic would have pushed them into an area where they have to seek some opportunity with the help of technology. And even I think Facebook would not have thought that this will get publicized so heavily, that all these cloud kitchens and all that booming onto Facebook, and a different type of market in India, with the help of influencers blooming up on YouTube, and then there is a different market of influencer marketing, all that. The way it has leaped up during COVID, it was just not possible without these circumstances, what COVID has pushed people into, to trust technology, and technology is the only way. So I'm saying going ahead in 4 or 5 years, technology is going to leap not less than 80 to 80 will not be a very high figure if I say the way it will jump up.
Well, I think one element is that I hope this kind of pandemic never comes to again in this world. But I think what has been good because of this is, as everybody is seconding my thought, every industry has gone through a lot of innovation. There will be growth in the IT industry, which we are already seeing. At least we as an organization, we are seeing a lot of growth in the IT hiring as well. But my question specific to Mr. Arvind, because you are somebody who has spent over 2.5 decades seeing learners coming out of campuses, or now learners coming out of their computer screens. Having said that, do you think the mindset of learning, because of pandemic, because of the current situation, and especially in the IT industry, the mindset of learning has changed, the perception of learning has changed?
Yes,
and this question is going to come to all of you, by the way.
There is I can tell about education sector that definitely it has changed. The earlier, let's talk of the primary education sector. You would not like to your son or daughter to be sitting on a laptop and sitting there for 2, 3, 4 hours, because you think that he or she will be wasting time in seeing some stuff which is not for them. Now, same thing happens in the institutions. So in college level or research level, so same thing, that what earlier used to be taken as that a wastage of time or not efficient use of time has become suddenly efficient use of time. So it has become a sort of necessity that I must know certain things, how to work with laptop, how to work with softwares, how to work with communication technology that are available. So that has sort of forced. Earlier, I know many of the people of my generation used to say that, no, I'm not familiar with using computers and these softwares and all that. So that's why I will not go for online teaching. He's a good teacher, excellent teacher, but he says, no, I don't want to get into this. So he's sort of dragged in, and he's now like, he's doing it and he's enjoying it. So there is a absolute comfort level in working with those things now, which was not there earlier. So yes, it has definitely changed the mindset, and people are now adopting to the new things and going beyond. Even things like introduction of a new technology. For example, earlier I have to write a technical paper to let people know that what I have been doing. Now it has become so easy. I can just have a video shoot done of my research work in a couple of minutes and tell the world that what I have been doing, and invite other researchers to join me and bring changes. Can I say one example of this?
Sure, sir. Sure.
Yeah. So the one example is that there was a suddenly acute shortage of oxygen all over, and there were a lot of factual as well as political scenes created about it. And so there is an oxygen plant on the campus at IIT Bombay, and it is basically for requirement of nitrogen. So the cryogenic department in mechanical engineering, they started working on, and they found that with the same setup of equipment what they had in the pilot plant, they could suddenly switch from nitrogen to oxygen. It's a small change, which they never thought of earlier. And in no time that spread all over. And I think within days, this oxygen crisis was over, all over. So this,
and if I was to extend this question to Mr. Naval, do you think that, the learner's mindset, towards learning has changed? Their perception towards learning has changed because of work from home conditions and pandemic, especially in the IT industry?
Yeah, so the learner's perception has changed. People are more, see, in IT industry, people were still akin to the learning, online and with all that, right? There are different ways you can learn, but then online, I think, because we are always on computer, we try to learn from computers and laptops and all that. I'll tell you one change which I've seen. My son knows a lot about Teams than my dad or even about than me. So he has all his classes on Zoom and Teams, and he knows. Sometimes he tells his mom as well, do this, do that. One different angle which I want to bring here, technology adoption has been faster for learning. People have changed their mindsets, but then people also had people had time now. They don't have to travel to office. They have a lot of time to learn, because it's not that these resources were not there earlier. They were there earlier as well. You didn't have enough time, but then now you can learn many other things. I've seen people learning photography, learning, quitting their, starting their travel blogs and all that. And at the same time, people, we also need to slow down on learning slightly, because people had bad times as well, right? One of my friends, he did 10 certifications, and I think 10th one, when he posted on LinkedIn, someone commented, why do you have to make it very competitive? This is not a race that you have to achieve so many certifications and courses, right? This is a time when people are having bad times. Slow down and enjoy life. This is a time when you have to enjoy with your kids, all that. So learning is in different phases, but definitely technology adoption has pushed learning a lot here.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen at least about 6 to 7 edtech companies cropping up thanks to pandemic, and
apart from Patil sir, we're all of same age. Who would have assumed, like you would have seen in your time, Akash was so big, right? Who would have thought, Byju's will come and buy Akash, right?
Yeah, I mean that's the way the market is behaving. But Mayur, if I was to extend this question to you, what do you think that the learner's mindset has changed because of, and especially related to IT industry, because of this work from home conditions?
So I will say not from the work from home condition perspective, but overall because of the pandemic and in last few years, I have seen the IT people different type of people getting into IT more and more. So I have known many mechanical engineers are there in IT than the computer engineers. And computer engineers are taken up the marketing MBA and they're selling some products, right? So
No, engineers with all due respects, to Arvind Saab, is that engineers are having a zen. It doesn't matter whether they are mechanical or electrical, they still do software coding. So it's kind of okay.
Absolutely. So that has been always a trend, right? But what has changed after that is the type of courses people are taking, right? More and more people are going into data sciences. Right, so that wasn't the case earlier. Right, earlier the software coding was sufficient enough, right? But now more and more people are going into data sciences. More and more people are going into cloud. Right, there security in the pandemic. There is an acute need of security professionals.
Cybersecurity.
And most of the infrastructure people are getting into security, and there are now huge amount of jobs which are left for the infrastructure people because there is nobody in the infrastructure left. Because infrastructure is also going into cloud, right? So this entire hole is created because of the pandemic, because of the security. So that has started happening. I have seen that more and more people moving towards these things. I was having a discussion with one of the Big Four's partner, and he was saying our attrition in cybersecurity is 30%. Right, because people are just new shops are opening up, and everyone wants security professional more and more. Then one more thing that I have seen, I also take a lot of these campus interviews from and IIMs and ISBs of the world. So many people who earlier wanted to go outside India, they don't want to go. Right, because as Naval mentioned, right, many people have also started appreciating their family life, appreciating people around them, right? And that is also a different trend I have seen, because when I was doing my engineering, the trend was to GRE, go to MA, go to US, do MS, and get settled there, right? But I have seen that changing, right? More and more people have started coming back to India. They have started taking courses in India. So that is also a trend change.
On a lighter note, I think it's all thanks to Arvind Saab. what do you call the story? Because most of the engineers are from IITs who are currently heading the majority of the technical organizations. Yeah, I think having said that, for the benefit of our viewers, as a lot of people are suggesting, machine learning, artificial intelligence, data science, cyber security, I think these are some of the jobs that are going to be trending for some more years. If somebody is really looking for a 2-digit, 3-digit jump in terms of your pay structure, I would personally recommend you actually need to go back and revisit your technology landscape or technology stack learning, because we as a hiring company, we are also seeing a lot of trend on data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, cyber security, and DevOps. My next question to Dubey sir is that now that we've been talking about disruptions, we're talking about digital innovation, pandemic leading to disruption leading to faster innovations leading to a different mindset of learners, learning background because of the pandemic. Having said that, my question to you first, Dubey sir, is that how do you think the future looks like post COVID in terms of digital transformation initiatives?
See what is happening post COVID. Pre-COVID also the symptoms were there, and people were kind of getting that mindset because of AI. There were talks that people might lose their jobs and machines are going to replace people, and many job roles will not be there only, So all those things were anyway creating some sort of pressure on professionals. Okay, so they were kind of building their mind to take a switch in their job roles or learn those technologies. Those pressures were building there before COVID itself, and with then COVID came in, and then the more fear and more threat to their job role, and then having that in place, the time to learn and all these boom in terms of learning materials being easily accessible because of your YouTube and all these Edureka and all these learning portals, and they're offering all these courses on a very low price. And beside that, the bigger change that came was all these cloud providers like Microsoft and AWS. They offering courses free of cost, many, and then with that they are offering certification coupons free of cost. And that has added fuel to that. The people have changed, and we the middle layer, the management layer, what we call in tech, have came out from their jobs and started thinking on life as an entrepreneur. And I have met several of such people, with amazing ideas of business, and they started working around that.
Can I make the statement saying that based on the comment, which I would like to extend this question to Mr. Patil Saab also, because he sees a lot of learners, but based on what Mr. Dubey has said, COVID has led to a lot of digital transformation. Digital transformation is leading to a lot of innovation and a lot of job opportunities, or creating entrepreneurial mindset. Is that the right statement? Can I make, Mr. Arvind?
Yes, absolutely. That's a very true statement that I can see. And definitely the future for everyone, like though the number of the job coverage or the extent of work coverage, the volume coverage that an individual can do has increased tremendously. But still there is a dearth of jobs. I would say there are a dearth of roles that are required. So there is not a matter to be worried about that people will lose job and things like that. As Mayuresh has said that see, more and more people are thinking of very innovative ways, and new ideas are coming up. So that is happening all over. So there will not be dearth of requirements of people, and more and more people are required. Actually, that should be a boom.
Yeah, I mean, historically, if you look at it, I mean, for the benefit of everybody, India never has a wage problem. I mean, India never has a job problem. It has got a wage problem, right? I think that's a way to look at it. But I think, but I think, as rightly you said, one is that pandemic has led to a lot of disruption led to innovation led to a lot of change in learning curve, bringing in a lot of adaptability to digital transformation, and digital transformation leading to a lot of entrepreneurial mindset or creativity. Probably we are seeing a lot of unicorns coming into India. Close to about 120 unicorns today are suddenly in India. Few of them valued at few thousand crores. But I think if I was to extend this question to Mayur, and then I will come to Naval, what do you think that extending this question, how do you think that the digital transformation initiatives post pandemic will look like for you?
So people have tested what is the fast time to market, right? And once people have tested that, they don't want to go back to the old ways of testing things, right? So, and that is going to impact everyone, right? Like, how many people will now go to cinema hall to watch movies, right? Because for last almost 1.5 to 2 years, people have started enjoying their personal space with personal content, right? So that is going to happen even for the IT. People will no more be, people who have, let's say, on-premise infrastructure experience will no longer be, valid in the ecosystem. People are not having DevOps knowledge will not be needed in the ecosystem in future. Why? Because time to market is less, right? Not because they don't know something, that's why they are behind, right? Because the pace of change has become so fast. The only way to sustain its cloud, the low code, no codes of the world, the DevOps of the world, right? Just I think I saw on LinkedIn somebody posting a message that India versus Pakistan match was viewed on Hotstar by 1.2 crore people. Now, who would imagine the server infrastructure and the bandwidth needed for streaming 1.2 crore viewers, right?
That's still, if I was to go back on a lighter note, probably 15 years back, when I started, working in the HR industry, or 20 years back, or 25 years back, when internet just came in, we used to still see that the buffering happens, and now now we are still online. But I think if I was to extend this question to Mr. Naval as well, how do you think we're going to live with this? What do you call post-pandemic, this digital transformation life?
See, the post-pandemic, again, as Mayuresh mentioned, the rate of change will be very, very fast. People have to learn quickly. People have to adapt quickly. And then, there are many things which will change. I think everyone have a work from home setup at their home now, right? They have they've worked so long hours, they have set up, companies has paid for them. So that will continue. I think 100% of the people, 100% of the time in office. I'm not sure if that's going to be possible or that will happen. But then partial people working from different places, that will happen. People have tasted that away from office is possible, so people will definitely do that. There are some changes which will definitely happen. So I think remote working will happen a lot, at least 20 times faster, as it would have been. Many BFSI companies or many other financial giants as well, they wanted everyone to be in office because of different data privacy norms and all that, right? But now everyone allowed their employees. Now employees are also, you'll see so many attritions happening, right? Because employees are also intelligent. Companies were keeping them in the premise, right? But the work from home was possible. So if it's possible because of the COVID, it is possible after that as well. We'll see a lot of online things coming up, as in aggregator apps, as in the different industries booming with the online mode of business. So only brick and mortar business is not there to stay. You have to have online presence somewhere. Digital marketing will be a lot. Because of rate of change, Mayuresh mentioned DevOps, but the low code, no code will be on a faster adaptability as well. People will be adopting more of low code, no code, because then, like Amazon, you have widgets, pull it, your application is ready, your dashboards are ready in no time, right? So those type of things will definitely happen. Personalized, sort of businesses, as the OTT platform, your viewership or what you are viewing is individualized, right? You are not 100 people viewing a movie. There's one VR box which one person can enjoy, and every person in the family can enjoy their own movie. Similarly, on Amazon as well, AIML will be pushing all these individualized wish lists and what is good for you, shopping lists and all that, right? So
but don't you think, on a lighter note, so
Mhm.
much amount of disruption is bad for the society? I'm just asking a question out of the syllabus. Anybody can answer that. I mean, okay, I
yeah,
pose this
true.
question. I will pose this question to somebody who looks very senior, to Mr. Arvind.
Okay.
No, I think that people have started enjoying life more. So what many times it has been said on this panel discussion also, that see, I am enjoying more to be with my family and simultaneously carrying out my professional work and giving more time for both. So that is a major change. And why not? So why change that? Why go away from that? Why go back from that? So I would definitely think that this trend will continue. And it has effect, as I mentioned earlier, it has effect in saving your time and energy and cost. So the savings will go somewhere else so that you will have more and more. Thank you.
My one question I want all of you to answer one at a time. I think the first I will go with Mr. Mayur is that, see, since you mentioned DevOps, low code, no code, what we are seeing from an industry point of view, or when we talk with a lot of industry leaders like your academicians like Mr. Arvind, a lot of people that we see is that we have seen the dot-com boom. We have seen, so first we've seen the Y2K boom, then we have seen the dot-com boom, then we have seen the financial services boom, then the ITES boom, and so far. And you have the GCCs boom now. The GCCs, which are 1,400 in India, are going to move to about 2,300, 2,200 over next 1 year. A lot of global delivery centers are going to come to India. But what we have seen across over last many years is that the IT industry has gone a lot of changes in the way they are looking at applicants, in the way they are looking at job seekers. Earlier, they were only looking for IT professionals. That means somebody is having a Java, a .NET. You come, we hire you. But those days are gone. Those days are gone because a lot of industry is looking for T professionals, I would say. When I say T professional, somebody is having one core skill and adjacencies of 2-3 top skills, which actually makes them a T professional. So my first question to Mayur is that, having said that within the DevOps or the low code, no code, or a machine learning or artificial intelligence or robotic process automation, do you think they will be the game changers, or these technology stacks will be the game changers for a lot of middle managers who are there in between 3 to 4 years and the new job applicants who are actually trying to come into IT industry?
Yeah, yes, absolutely, it will be. I'll tell you again, the core of that is the instant gratification, right? People want to try fast, fail fast, recover fast. All of that is possible only with these technologies, right? So that is always going to be the case. These technologies are going to lead the future. All the aspirants should always ensure that they are learning these things, and which will help them to get into the different jobs or get promoted also, because the cloud and these technologies is the future.
And Mr. Naval, you second that thought?
Yes, the answer to that will be an emphatic yes, because people have new learning opportunities. These technologies will definitely help you do faster things. I just want to add one point here. Not only learning these technologies or doing certifications will help you. People are looking at your personal branding. It's not like you put a LinkedIn certification you did, and you attended a day-long course, did a certification and posted on LinkedIn. That won't help you. People are definitely going to look at your data profile, see what sort of projects you have done, see what sort of contributions you have made. People will definitely, if you're in AI ML space, people will look at how is your Kaggle profile, what do you do, what sort of competitions you have contributed to, what deliveries you have done. So this is, and LinkedIn and Facebook, especially LinkedIn in the professional world, this gives you an immense space for personal branding. So I don't think people are conducting hundreds of interviews. If I have to get a cloud architect, I have 5 top people in my mind who I follow on LinkedIn. I know who are doing some good work. If they are not going to be hired, I can ask those 5 for their 5, right? So a lot of individualized hiring will happen.
And Mr. Dubey sir, you think you also second that thought of these technologies of robotics, artificial intelligence, cyber security, machine learning, data science, DevOps, all these are going to be the future skills for the IT industry?
Yeah, but I would differ a little bit. See, no matter, these are the leading technologies, but yet I'm seeing there is a lag in terms of, companies being so aggressive on this. They are doing things, but the aggression that is needed, is not up to that level where a new, college student can think of, a quick job in that segment. It does need, certain level of confidence that individual needs to showcase, which will be a bigger challenge for a new, college grade or a fresher or a person of that level. That's the only hurdle I'm seeing, but rest all it looks lucrative, and people should look into. For no code, low code, yes, that's something where you are kind of, you get a a customized way of learning, a good guided this thing is there, and then there are big brands around you, and all the companies, the way Mayuresh said that the time to market is kind of getting more low and low. People are expecting faster deliveries. So low code, no code, yes, that's really something a very good way to start, where new entrants can look into, and that will definitely be a big plus.
And before we open the house for question and answers, I know we just have 3 minutes. Probably we will have to skip the question and answers as well, because we have been having such an exciting discussion. My question outside the syllabus, now that a lot of industry folks are saying that certain skills, are going to be the future. My question to Mr. Patil Sahab is that how should educational institutes be ready for this kind of transformation for the India market, because our courses, while I know the new education policy defines a lot of those changes, but having said that, how do you think the academia within India has to be prepared for the future of the Indian jobs that are going to come in?
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, that this digitization or going for online earning and all has resulted in saving of cost for everybody, and education sector particularly will stand immensely benefited because of this, because earlier the issue was a huge cost required for setting up these premises and all those things, and even hiring good faculty. Now that is drastically reduced. So the focus will shift obviously on doing more and more innovative learning things. And as I said, that again, the campus's size will not physically matter how many students we could take on our campus, but what will matter is that how many students all over the world could join, how many researchers all over the world could join us. So that will sort of bring a scope for unlimited expansion for academic institutions.
Well, with that note, I think we have very lesser time. I think we just have 1 minute at our disposal. And if I was to make a closing statement, I think I've had a great opportunity to get an enriching experience from all of you. So just on a closing statement, I would say that pandemic has led to disruption, and disruption has led to innovation. Innovation has led to change of learning curve from the learners, and this disruption has also led to digital transformation. Digital transformation has led to a lot of entrepreneurship within India, and entrepreneurship is creating more jobs for India. And because of the digital disruption, few of the technologies are going to have a headway, and it's important for job applicants as well as people who are within the industry need to upskill and reskill their technology stack to stay relevant for the industry. Well, thank you so much, gentlemen. It was an absolute pleasure to talk to all of you. Look forward to speak to all of you in the near future. Thank you so much, and wishing you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you,
everyone. Bye.
Thank you.